the chaos. The orange and blue hit the wavy waters of the West Coast. Will they walk away with a win? We get you set for the Oilers and the Canucks on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to an extended edition of the Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola live on location at the Shamrock Curling Club. It is the Oilers alumni bonspiel. You're going to hear and see from a lot of alumni. We'll also have Jessica Bromley from OEG with the EOCF joining us. Brendan Batchelor, the play-by-play voice on the radio side for the Vancouver Canucks, will stop by as well. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas, and Matt Kassian as per usual. Cass at the Satellite Studios. Nancito over at EST Global HQ. Hit that thumbs up button if you're watching on YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're listening, maybe you're driving around, stay warm, drive safely. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, you know we appreciate you. You can text us 780-218-9999. The Oilers closing out a 3-game road trip, back-to-back wins. Minnesota, Colorado, a day off. They signed John Klingberg, and now they face the Vancouver Canucks for the second of 3 meetings this season. Hernan, Salas, how are we tonight, my friend?
Doing good. Looking forward to the game. Seeing what the Oilers have in store. They've been really good. Best team in the league
been really good
for a while now. So the turmoil that surrounds the Vancouver Canucks. Will they come together? Come together. Will they come together tonight? And maybe one last win for this group as it's. The chatter's heating up around that team. I don't know if anything's going to happen. It sounds like JT Miller will play tonight. So we continue to wait to see if there's a solution there in Vancouver. But Tom, for them, a win tonight would go a long way. They need to. They've had 2 really bad losses, and the Oilers got to jump on them early. Don't let them off the hook. So I always like when these 2 teams meet, man. It's always good hockey.
Yes, we're excited to see what happens between the Oilers and the Canucks. Let the drama unfold in Vancouver. I think a lot of Oiler fans would be like, great, who cares? Let them absolutely shred themselves apart. Of course, they lost 5-1 against the LA Kings Thursday night. JT Miller did get to sit at the end of the bench for a significant portion of that game. The video, if you didn't see it, Rick Tocchet having a little conversation with Miller saying, you go sit at the end of the bench. That's it for you tonight. And yes, indeed, Miller, not a good night if you're him. He is a Canucks star. He is a tremendous player. A lot of people, especially today on Hello Hockey, we were talking about it with David Pagnotta, a lot of people feeling like that move, Miller being shooed out of Vancouver, could be happening sooner rather than later. We'll talk to Brendan Batchelor, play-by-play voice of the Canucks, shortly. He'll be joining us in a minute or two. I want to give a shout-out to everybody here from the Oilers Alumni Association, Patty Garland, Aaron Klatt, Brienne. Of course, we're going to have Jess on in a little bit. We were here last year for the pre- and post-game show. It was a ton of fun. My team is called Between the Sheets. I'm with Candace, Shelley, Lene, and Karen. We lost on the last shot of the game in our first one. I'm see where the ladies are. Where's my team? They are phenomenal. They're feisty. They're tenacious. They're over on rink number 6. Hopefully things are going well for our group. 3 ends is what we play here at the Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. If you're wondering, well, who the heck is down there, Tom? I'll tell you what. Craig McTavish is here. Jason Strudwick, Joaquin Gage, Sean Bell, Ben Scrivens, not Jonathan Drouin, JDD, Jeff Drouin, Delorier, and Chris Joseph. Doug Hicks is here. A great smattering of alumni. Mark Fistrick as well, my old teammate growing up, a good friend back on the north side, is also here. I said, Mark, come on, let's do a little bit of radio tonight. He said, we'll see, Tommy, we'll see. But he was in Canmore earlier for Hockey Day in Canada. So, we'll get some of the alumni on, and it should be a fun day here at the Shamrock Curling Club, Oilers Alumni Bonspiel, and 3rd annual. So we'll get to a bunch of the alumni, but the task at hand right now is the Oilers and the Canucks. Joining us from the Vancouver Canucks radio broadcast, it is Brendan Batchelor, friend of the show, and great play-by-play voice in the National Hockey League. He knows his stuff inside and out, and he's the perfect guy to talk to right now. Batch, second of 3 meetings between these two Pacific Division rivals. Let's just start with that game on Thursday night to the LA Kings. The Canucks fell 5-1 on the ice. What didn't work for the Canucks, in your opinion?
Well, the Canucks have made a habit of spotting other teams' first period leads. And, it was very similar to the Oilers game against the Avalanche, where they went down 3-0 in the first. But this is a group that doesn't have a whole lot of pushback in their game right now. So they gave up the first goal to the Kings inside the first minute, went down 3-0 in the first period. They went down 3-0 in the first period in their previous game against the Winnipeg Jets as well, and weren't able to claw back into the game. And that's now 11-2. They've been outscored in the last 2 games. So there are lots of questions being asked about this group in Vancouver right now as they sit below the playoff bar at the moment.
Listen, you've been around this team for a long time. I've been around the Oilers. I went through the decade of darkness. And listen, the other thing, too, is like the Canucks are still in the mix. They're still in the mix. And I know there's some turmoil, a lot of noise, if you will. How would you sum up how this group is navigating all the noise? Because people are kind of looking at the Canucks going, what's going to happen over there? And I know a lot was made about JT Miller and Rick Tocchet the other night. How would you describe how this team is trying to navigate this situation?
Well, they just need something good to happen for them, I think, and it's been a while since that's happened. They haven't won back-to-back games since late November into early December. You look at the first half of the season, Thatcher Demko missed the start of the year as he recovered from his knee injury. JT Miller had an injury through training camp. They went on his leave of absence. Elias Pettersson hasn't played very well and was out briefly with an injury as well. Philip Hronek was out long-term, 21 games with an injury. He just came back here in the last couple of games. Dakota Joshua was diagnosed with testicular cancer and missed the start of the season. So, I think a large part of how successful the Canucks were last season, winning the Pacific Division, was that a lot of things went right for them. They stayed relatively healthy, basically up until the playoffs, where Demko went down, and then, everybody will remember Besser had that blood clotting issue and wasn't able to play in Game 7 against the Oilers. So as many bounces went for them last year, have gone against them this year, and they feel like a pretty fragile group right now, just being around them. There's not a lot of smiles, not a lot of laughter, not a lot of people having fun coming to the rink. And I think a good result at some point here, or a few bounces going their way, might make a world of difference, because they don't really have much momentum overall in their team game right now.
Yeah, well said. 1 win in the last 7, a couple of OT losses in there as well. They did beat the Leafs a couple of games ago, as these two teams renew their rivalry, the Oilers and the Canucks. Brendan Batchelor joining us, play-by-play voice of the Vancouver Canucks. Are the Oilers what the doctor ordered? Do you think they could be the right tonic for the Canucks? If a win against their Pacific Division rivals, maybe that gets a spark in the right direction, some good mojo going in the other direction. What do you think, Batch?
Yeah, it's impossible to say, because I think the most frustrating part for fans in Vancouver about this Canucks team this year is they've hit some pretty high highs as well as pretty low lows. And you bring up that game against the Maple Leafs. It was one of their best games of the year. They went into Toronto on a Saturday night. It was the second half of a back-to-back where they had to travel in day of the game because a storm kept them grounded in Carolina the night before. And so you thought, oh no, this is a situation where everything's going against them. They're going to go in on Hockey Night in Canada, the early game against the Leafs, and get the doors blown off them. And they played one of their best games of the year and won 3-0. And then they followed that up with 6-1 and 5-1 losses to the Jets and the Kings. So all of this is to say, the one thing that you can predict about the Canucks is how unpredictable they are, which means this could be their best game of the year, and they could win against the Oilers, their Pacific Division rivals, and get a really good bump from it and feel really good about their game coming out of it. Or they could lose 8-0 and have the doors blown off them again, and anything in between is a possibility with this team. They have just not been able to find consistency at all this year.
Okay, I'm going to throw this at you. I know how passionate Canucks fans are. I know they are a lot like Oilers fans. How is the fan base reacting, handling all of this? I'm sure they want something to give. What can you tell us here in Edmonton about how that side of this situation and moment in time Vancouver is in right now. How would you give us a little taste of it here in Edmonton?
Yeah, calm, measured, rational. These are all words that I would not use to describe the fan base right now. People are pretty fired up. There were high expectations for this team coming into the year. Within the organization and outside the organization, they talked about raising the bar, talked about, taking a step from the great year they had last year. And instead, they've taken a big step back. And now they're outside the playoff picture looking in right now, although you're right, they're still in the mix. There's been more high-profile stories about them off the ice and their feuding stars, JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, than there have been about their play on the ice, and especially on the back of a couple of really bad losses, and not just bad score lines, but bad performances too, where the team doesn't inspire a lot of confidence with the way they're playing right now. On our post-game show, we get people calling in and, they want Rick Tockett's head. They want Patrick Alvin's head. They want Jim Rutherford's head. They want JT Miller to be traded. They want Elias Pettersson to be traded. Basically everyone except Quinn Hughes is on the table for some of this fan base at the moment anyway right now, because of how much frustration there is at the lack of consistency they've been able to play with this year. So interesting times in Vancouver, but certainly not happy ones for most Canucks fans.
I get it. I totally get it. Batch, if it's any solace to you, Oilers fans earlier this season were calling for Chris Knobloch's head in the early parts of the year. He's only gone 75, 31, and 8 as the Oilers head coach, and he's gone to Game 7 of the Cup final. But, it is what it is, and you got a passionate fan base in Van. You got a passionate fan base here in Edmonton, and nobody is immune from the spotlight, especially when things are going sideways. You mentioned Thatcher Demko. I know he was dealing with that really unique, rare knee injury, and he's finally back. And in the limited amount of time, I think it's 9 games now, 2-3-3, I believe is the record. What have you seen from Demko? Have there been shades of classic Demko, if you will, bubble Demko to dial in that moment in time as well? What have you seen from a guy who is a star in this league when he is healthy?
Yeah, he's not there yet, and I think that's to be expected with the amount of time he missed. He missed a stretch run at the end of the regular season last year, then came back for the last 2 games of the regular season and played Game 1 of the first round against Nashville, and then went out with this, as you said, rare knee injury, the popliteus in his knee, which was not something I knew about before Demko suffered this injury, and now we all know about it here in Vancouver as, basically an unprecedented injury for not just a goaltender, but for a hockey player to sustain. Yeah. So, there was a lot of hard work for him to get back, and he's still finding his footing. Unfortunately for him, the defensive environment he's being thrown into right now with the Canucks is not a good one. And so that's going to affect the record. That's going to affect the goals against average, the save percentage, all of those things. And they don't look very good right now. But, I don't think a short run of games is anything that Canucks fans can take to, shake their confidence in Thatcher Demko. I think he's still capable of being an elite goaltender in this league, but he has to get up to speed, and the team in front of him has to give him a chance to do that. And, thus far that hasn't really happened for him. So he's going to go in goal again tonight against the Oilers, getting back-to-back starts after playing in that game against LA a couple of nights ago. And, I think organizationally the mandate for them is to try and get this guy on a roll and get him a run of games here because, regardless of how well Kevin Lankinen has played in the first half of the season, filling in and getting them some good results and playing some good hockey, a healthy, confident Thatcher Demko at the top of his game still represents the best opportunity for this organization to have success.
Big-time game changer if you got him playing well between the pipes. All right, Demko does get the nod for Vancouver tonight, Batch. What type of game are you anticipating? Do you expect the Canucks to come out with some gusto and try to totally redeem themselves after a couple of losses here?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think it kind of depends how the first few minutes of the game go because Vancouver's made a habit of giving up an early goal against, and this is a team right now that when they get behind the 8 ball, it's really hard for them to battle back. So they can have a strong start, they can score the first goal, if they can dictate the way the game is going to be played a little bit, then maybe they've got a chance to build some traction. But with the way the Oilers are rolling right now, it wouldn't surprise me if it's Edmonton that comes out with a hotter start And if they can make the Canucks pay early in the game, then it'll be an easy night for them when you compare it to, performances that Vancouver's put forth recently. So, again, as I said earlier, like I could see anything between a Vancouver win and a 8-0 Edmonton win with the lack of consistency this team has played with. But from a Canuck fan perspective, anyway, you hope to see some desperation from a group that's given up 11 goals and only scored 2 in their last 2 games.
Well, if it helps, the Oilers like to cough up leads in the first period, especially of late, and then they totally reel themselves back in. Batch, it should be a fun game down in Vancouver. I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun calling it. I always appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you for the insight, and look forward to doing this again with you.
Sounds good, and say hello to former Vancouver Giant Mark Fister.
I will. I'll say hi to Fisty for you. He's a good man. Batch, have a good call tonight, my friend.
Thanks very much. Have a good one, Tom.
There you go. Brendan Batchelor. He is the play-by-play voice of the Vancouver Canucks. Used to be with the Giants. And yes, indeed, Mark Fistrick here at the Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. If you're watching, going, where the hell are you, Tommy? We're at the Shamrock, just off of White Ave. Great spot. Huge shout-out to Gavin and Angela Morton. Used to work with Gav at OEG. He was head of ticketing. Now he's the GM here at the Shamrock. And we've got a lot of great alumni here, a lot of great teams, a lot of fun, good food, good beverages. They do have 6 o'clocker here. I'm checking out Belzy right now. He is lumbering down the ice. Not that fast. Doug Hicks is actually moving quite quicker than him, Hernan. And Hicks, he hasn't played hockey in the NHL in like 45 years. He's moving quicker than Belzy. And then I'm trying to find Struddy's out there somewhere. I think Struddy's more moral support than anything. Chris Joseph gets right in there. I have to say Joe is right in there. And then I'm looking for Fistrick. Where is Mark? Mac T's kind of just hanging at the back.
What about our boy Gager?
Gager gets in there too. I'm looking for him as well. If I can point out, like Belzy's right there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Chris Joseph's just over my left shoulder. I'm looking for Joaquin. Joaquin is, Fisty is in the corner leaning on his broom. And I can't see Joaquin. He must be here on this near side. I'll let you know. I'll give you an update. Scrivy gets right in there too. Ben Scrivens likes to get in there. So does Jeff Drouin Delorier. It's a great time here. They're going to have a bite to eat, and the winning team gets some prizes. I think they get to come out to an Oilers game, and they get a suite. It's a lot of fun. My team last year, the Sheet Disturbers, defending champs, they knocked off my current team this year between the Sheets. Candace, Shelley, Lene, and Karen, very good curlers, and they were very welcoming to me. You know what they did, Nanso?
What's that?
They gave me every end. They gave me the first rock. Only one of the 3 I threw actually did anything. And I took one out. I didn't know you can't take out a guard on the first 5 shots. And I took out the guard, and I was like, boom. And they're like, you can't do that. What do you mean I can't do that? That was a great shot.
Busted.
You can't take out a guard. I'm like, what kind of stupid rule is this?
So many rules. So many rules.
Shows there's only a couple sports that I was deathly afraid of doing highlights for when I was a news and sports anchor. Basketball and curling. Yeah.
It's tough, man.
It is tough. All right. Text us 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as we roll along. Extended edition of the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. The Oilers 29-13-3. The Canucks 19-15-10. Just 1 win in their last 7, 2 wins in their last 10, coming off a couple of blowout losses, Winnipeg and LA. LA on Thursday, 5-1 was the final there. The Oilers, of course, back-to-back victories to kick off this 3-game road trip, Minnesota and Denver. People saying, Hernan, that game that the Oilers played on Thursday night, the best one of the season. I don't know if I buy that. It was probably the most exciting, in my opinion. How do you look back at that game after we had a day and a bit to reflect on it?
Well, I wouldn't put it as the Oilers' best game. I think it was an exciting game. I
Absolutely.
think, Colorado, even when Colorado was up 3-0, the game was still exciting. You just had a feeling that the game was far from over at that point. And yeah, for me, it's one of the, if not the most exciting game I've watched this year. I don't think it was the Oilers' best game. I don't think they'd say that either after that bad start in the first period. But Yeah, I think it was definitely the most exciting game of the season. Just great drama all the way till the end. Colorado was all over them with the goalie pulled, and good on the Oilers. It's interesting, though, that the Oilers give up a lot of goals lately in the first, and Vancouver is doing exactly the same thing. So what's going to give today, Tommy? We might have 6 goals in the first period. You're going to have Skinner and Demko hasn't looked like the old Demko that we saw before the injury last March. And in fairness, he's been off for a while. He's fighting his way back, but he still scares you. He's still a hell of a goaltender. We'll see what kind of game he can bring. But I'm expecting tonight, Tom. I kind of look at it, and it's like Brendan said there, like they just need something to go well. And beating the Oilers, that's gonna kind of quiet down everything for at least a few days. But if they lose again and let's say it's a 4 or 5 goal win, oh boy, that's going to get hot in Vancouver. So, I mean, the Oilers can really turn this team upside down right now if they want to. So, I'm intrigued to see how they come out in the final game also of the road trip, right?
And that's fair. It can be tough, the last game of a road trip. This one isn't long. It's 3 games and 4 nights, and it's not like they really had to go too far, and the flights were that long. Like the flight to Minnie is 3 hours long, and it's a quick hop to Denver, and Denver to Vancouver, where you go in, you rest, you get the extra day. Not a particularly difficult trip, and I know it's 8 games in 8 different cities, but I think there's been enough time, and you can manage it easy enough that it's not that big of an issue. So we'll see if the Oilers can take advantage of an absolutely wounded Vancouver Canucks club. All right, Nat, so before we get into starting lineups, should we throw out the question of the night?
Yeah, it's kind of tied in with Vancouver.
I like it.
It's just, I was just going to go with this one for tonight here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. This matchup against the Edmonton Oilers and Vancouver Canucks tonight. Will this be the last time the Oilers face this exact roster for the Vancouver? Because there is noise. I'm seeing your boy Pagnotta tweeting out that JT Miller is expected to play, but that does not mean that they're not making phone calls and all that kind of stuff. So is this the last time we see the JT Miller Vancouver Canucks face the Edmonton Oilers? Because if a trade does go down, Tommy, and they have one more game after this against Vancouver, it's going to be a completely different team because this trade's going to be pretty huge.
If you're wondering what Pagnotta put out there, Hernan's alluding to this. Expectation is JT Miller is in the lineup for the Canucks tonight. Trade chatter continues, but unless there's a major pivot in the next 90 minutes, I'm told nothing's imminent at this moment, and he is set to play. That is from David Pagnotta as of 20 minutes ago, our Hello Hockey insider. He was great today. We were grilling him, Belzy and I. And so there you go. A little bit of a roster update there. The drama that continues to surround the Vancouver Canucks heading into this one. And Hernan, you're right. The Oilers and the Canucks wrap up the season series next week? Right? Next week they wrap things up. And so it's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds as Sean Bell joins us.
I guess that's the question. It's pretty much just by the time they play Vancouver again, will there be significant changes to the Vancouver Canucks? I'm just going to go to your full screen, Tommy, so you guys look a little better.
Okay. Well, you can stay on there. Belzy and I can scooch together. That's all good. All right. That is the question of the night. Nat, so you want to throw it out one more time? 780-218-9999. Text us your thoughts. We want to read those. Get into the nasty chat one more time, Nat. So Belzy can, because he missed it.
Yeah. By the time the Oilers play Vancouver again to close out the series next week, will the Vancouver roster be the same as tonight, or will there be significant changes? Because
all right, Belzy,
JT Miller news is heating up.
Pagnotta put this out 20 minutes ago. Expectation is JT Miller is in the lineup for the Canucks tonight. Trade chatter continues, but unless there's a major pivot in the next 90 minutes, I'm told nothing's imminent at this moment, and he's set to play. So answer the question of the night. Text us. Belzy, what's your take on it?
I would say that if the Oilers come in and they run amok all over the team, and it's like a 5-1, 6-1, and it's a drubbing, it's going to happen very quickly.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason he comes in, he plays well, it's a close game, I think they might hang on for a little bit. But I just think it's very dependent on what kind of game we get.
JT Miller, right now, how do you think he's feeling? Like all this talk, he's got a game tonight. Things on Thursday night with the head coach obviously did not look good. Probably were not any better internally. Like, what do you think the vibe around the room and the team is right now?
Well, I think he's a pro. So I think that he's going to, he's going to go about his business and he's going to try to do his work the best of his ability.
Sure.
But at the same time, like we talked about earlier today, I just think that there's so much toxicity around it that players are starting to get affected by it. Mm-hmm. And so the vibe around the room, I think everybody's kind of walking on eggshells because, there's heat between the two major stars on the team and nobody really wants to be part of that. So, right. Guys are trying to tiptoe around JT Miller. They're trying to tiptoe around, Elias Pettersson. So I don't think the vibe is great, but at the same time, I do think they're pros and they'll figure out a way to make sure that they kind of get through it and then manage it to the best of their ability.
Okay. When they decide to pull off this trade, if it is going to happen, it looks like it's starting to lean that way. And I fully understand why. What kind of relief would come to the group?
I just think everybody's going to just relax a little bit and then they're going to get back to playing because they're distracted and they're not worrying about what they need to do every single time they go out there. They're just worried about, is it going to be a bit of a gong show when they walk into the room? Is that guy mad at this guy? Is that guy mad at that guy? And it just weighs on you. And I think when and if it does happen, there's going to be a giant relief and you're going to see the Canucks all of a sudden play way more free and way more loose.
Okay, but that doesn't necessarily mean more victories. No,
it doesn't.
Right.
It just there's a major. It's like almost like a piano's tied behind you. You're going to get rid of this weight that's just carrying with you, and then And I think all the animosity that's going on. I do think it actually plays a factor. I really do.
Right, so do I.
It's hard.
Kelvin says you and Belzy need a room. Boom, boom, people are saying.
The boom, boom, boom. Yep.
Belzy and I, yes, we're matching. We had a great Hello Hockey earlier today. Summit was fantastic. Great food, great people over there. And now we're here at the Oilers Alumni.
My team is unbelievable, by the way.
How is your team doing?
We're kicking the doors off of everybody.
Are you
I am not doing anything. They are so good.
I'm not even surprised. Nanso, any thoughts? Any thoughts on either his curling abilities or what he had to say about JT Miller?
I was just going to say sweet haircut, Belzy.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't have it lined up yet. I just had to do it early in the morning and try to get it out there. But I had to line it up, make myself look good. Proper, like a proper gentleman.
Yeah. You look great.
Great.
You look great, Belzy.
No, I agree with Belzy's take where it and we said it too, Tom, before Belzy was on that if this is like a 5-1 game for the Oilers, I think by Monday we have news, right? And I like this one from Quaddy. He says, I hope nobody gets traded. It would be like your favorite soap opera ending. And it's true because, we're outside. We're not in Vancouver, right, guys? So we're loving this stuff. But I'm sure people
like an hourglass. This is the days of our lives.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well said.
Thank you.
Batch handle it pretty well. He's been around teams that have had a tough go in recent years. So he didn't give too much, but he gave us enough to chew on as the Oilers and Canucks go toe to toe. All right. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com's audio player, you can text us 780-218-9999. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, hit that thumbs up button, and let us know your thoughts on the question of the night. Hernan, fire it out there one more time. We're going to get Jessica Bromley from the EOCF on here in a minute or two. But Nanso, let it rip.
Yeah, by the next time the Oilers play Vancouver, which is on Thursday, January 23rd, will Vancouver's roster be significantly different?
Yeah, tell Jess to come on here. Text us. Yeah, let her know to come on here. We've got 4 headsets. It's gonna be a lot of moving pieces tonight. It's gonna be great. So we're going to get Jess Bromley on here. She's going to join Sean and I, and we'll get that third microphone going. Jess, come on in. Pull up a chair. Yeah, and then this one is for you. Yeah, that's you. Come on in. Jessica Bromley joining us now. We're going to get her headset all fired up. Let me know if you need it turned up or down volume-wise. Text us, 780-218-9999. Jess, how's your headset? Is
good? No,
the audio's
good.
okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
All right. Director of Community Investment and Engagement, EOCF. You and I worked together for a long time, too.
We sure did.
Yes, we did. Come on in a little bit closer.
Tommy, yeah,
Let's
can we
get everybody on camera?
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. There you can see Jess. I'll back up a little bit. All right. Bonspiel. This is the third.
Third, yeah.
I'm a defending champion. I see my team there, the Sheet Disturbers, which somehow I ended up not on their team, so I'm with Between the Sheets. Great group, by the way. We had a tough
Seems
go.
like a fitting name.
I don't know what that means, Jess.
That's perfect.
Well played.
Just an observation.
That's perfect. Nice.
You like that? You like that? Okay.
Oh, so good.
Getting down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, we are.
I just want to fit in, guys.
More than fit in perfectly. All right, Jess, tell us about the Bonspiel, because great vibe as people are coming off the pebbled ice and they're getting their beverages. We're about to eat soon. Give us the scoop on the Bonspiel.
Yeah, you know what? This is fun every year. Like you said, third annual. We have 2 EOCF teams participating this year. Our team is slowly growing.
Mac T chirping, spilling.
Shocker.
Classic. You're coming on later, by the way, Mac.
Look at the drinks.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, just a great time. Always fun when we get these guys out and together and doing some fun stuff. And obviously the guests that come and support, they have a good time hanging out with these guys. So
yeah,
it's been great.
They do. And listen, the relationship with the alumni, I mean, our time together when it was still Rexall Sports and Entertainment and became OEG, and it really feels like there is a good bond with the organization and the alumni. How have you seen that develop over the years?
100%. Yeah. Like I would say that the relationship was always good, but throughout the years, we've done a really specific effort to really bring the team together. And there's just so much overlap in what we do, whether it's, these guys coming out supporting our youth hockey teams, our youth hockey programs. And we have 3 alumni that are ambassadors for our Every Kid Deserves a Shot initiative. So supporting that kind of stuff. They're jumping on, doing interviews, attending events for us. So it's really a natural relationship. And, you talk to some other teams around the league, they're structured really differently. And we talked to a team recently that really commented on that, how our foundation and our alumni group are so tight knit. So it's a great place to be for sure.
Before we get to Every Kid Deserves a Shot, that's a great program, obviously. I just want to ask how our regular game analyst, Matt Kassian, who played for the Wild and the Ottawa Senators, is so heavily involved with the Oilers alumni.
Hey, you know what? We'll take anyone that's willing to support. We'll take them. And Matt has done so much great work for us, and we're grateful for him. We miss him here tonight, but he's done so much for us. So we love it.
You could have just sewered him.
Have you ever tried saying no to a grizzly bear?
That's good.
It usually doesn't go very well. They just go, "Arr!"
He is a grizzly bear, but the nicest one ever. Jessica Brovley joining us from the EOCF. We're here at the Oilers' 3rd annual alumni Bonspiel. A great time indeed at the Shamrock Curling Club. How fitting is this too, by the way? Gavin Morton, who we also work with at the Oilers.
OEG alum.
Yeah, how hard is it to twist his arm to do this?
Yeah, no, luckily not hard. We're lucky. They've been great partners here at the Shamrock, so it's been great. And it's always nice to run into old colleagues that we had back in the day, and it's been great for sure.
Well said. Okay, let's get to Every Kid Deserves a Shot. You talked about the ambassadors and the tie-in with the alumni, but give us more of an idea of what that program is.
Yeah, for sure. It's still fairly new. We launched it last October, just ahead of the Heritage Classic. But essentially, we wanted to have something that we could really focus on, using the power and spirit of hockey to inspire kids. So whether it's kids who are already playing and they're looking up to our current roster team or our alumni and they're just inspired by that, or it's kids who maybe don't have the means to play the sport. We're trying to break down those barriers and give them more opportunities to be able to do that.
Okay, if somebody's watching or listening out there and going, okay, I think I know somebody who might be good for that. Between the Sheets, we won? Yes, there's Candace and Lene from Between the Sheets. My team is 1-1 right now. Okay, nice. Let's go back to Every Kid Deserves a Shot. If somebody wants to know more, maybe get somebody involved, they think that they know somebody who'd be a good candidate, what details do they need to know? Where can they go to find out more, maybe connect?
Yeah, great question. So on our website, you'll find all the information, but one of the main programs that we've put a lot of muscle and investment behind is called the Oil Country Hockey Assist Program. So we work with Sports Central, who provides these kids with equipment, and we work with Kids Sport Alberta, who subsidizes the registration fees. So it's a great way if you're not sure, you can as a parent can commit to full seasons of minor hockey. You don't know if your kid's gonna like it. The equipment can be a little bit expensive.
It is expensive.
Exactly. Yeah. We all know there are some barriers, and these organizations are doing great work to help kids get in the game and feel it out and go from there. And so that's one of them. We have our first shift program, which is a learn to play, again, really low cost, $200. You're getting full equipment and 6 weeks on the ice, and coached by an alumni, which is always a little bonus as well.
Do you wrangle this guy in at all?
I think we used to. One of our other programs, our Hockey Institute, I think you did for a little bit.
Hockey Institute, skills and drills.
For drills and skills. Yep.
Elsie, what's that like for you as an alumni, teaching the game to people? I'm assuming, Jess, too, there's people that are new to the game that might be new Canadians, perhaps, that get involved as well, that just want to dip their toe into hockey a bit.
For sure. You know what? That was kind of one of the big areas we wanted to focus on this year is new Canadians. When you first get to Edmonton, or Canada in general, hockey might not be the first sport you gravitate to, but another great organization that we work with is Free Play for Kids.
Yes.
And the majority of those kids are newcomers. And so getting them, we're trying to ease them in with ball hockey, get a feel for the game. But then they have access through these first shift programs and things like that to keep going if they want to go. And even in the last year, we would try and do some of these programs and we'd see the kids on the sidelines, a little hesitant. And then now a year later, I just did an event just before the holidays with Darnell Nurse, and the kids are in there loving it, scoring goals, selling. It's so fun to see.
The important things. Belzy, for you, when you get to do stuff like that, what do you take out of it? What do you get?
I think it's important to try to grow the game, and you want new Canadians to be able to enjoy the sport that we all love, and I think it's as a coach, I do this for a living, and I see all these different kids and making an impact in their lives. So for me, it's special because I think it's important for more groups to be a part of hockey and to experience what it brings to your life and to how it can shape your life, how it can change your life. And I just think there's a lot of really good that comes out of it, and it's just making sure that I guess they're moving forward in the right direction.
I like that. Well said, sir. Well said, as always. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Oilers and Canucks night. We're live on location at the Shamrock Curling Club. It is the third annual Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. Jess Bromley, Sean Bell, Tom Gazzola with you. Hernan Salas back at ESTHQ. Jess, we're also going to talk about more of what the EOCF does. I know it's been a great organization for a long time and absolutely tremendous in the community. And you guys are doing a Canadian Armed Forces night coming up as well, right? Yeah. Coming up on Tuesday is our Canadian Armed Forces night. We do this annually. Really, really cool night, just celebrating the men and women who serve and protect us. And so it's pretty special. We've had a long-standing relationship with Canadian Armed Forces, but I would say even there throughout the years that continues to grow. We're working with
a lot of different organizations, whether it's the Military Family Resource Centers or Soldier On, which is another great initiative we do with alumni as well. We got a couple of the alumni going out with some members or previous members from Armed Forces with that group, doing a little bit of, I think, shinning skills and stuff like that. And yeah, the Legion, we always have the Legion out around Remembrance Day, doing collection for poppies. And so just such an important part of our fabric, really, and just a really, really cool initiative. So that'll be exciting. We're hoping for a big 50-50 there to support the Military Family Resource Center up in Cold Lake. Another thing that we've really done in the foundation is really expand the support.
I can ask you about that.
Yeah, it was, I would say back in the day, Tom, it was really Edmonton focused. But as we've grown, with the 50-50 growing, we know that we have these amazing fans supporting all over oil country.
Modest winnings, by the way.
Yes, modest.
We're talking millions.
We don't take it for granted, let me tell you that. But it's really, it's cool now that we have those means. We take it very seriously, and we're reaching out across oil country and making sure that those investments are getting made all across the board. So that's been pretty cool as well. So the Military Family Resource Center in Cold Lake do phenomenal work. They have this amazing tutoring program. As you can imagine, kids with parents who are serving, they're moving around a lot. It's hard to find some stability in their learning. So this tutoring program has done amazing work to support the kids there.
You guys are absolutely crushing it as usual, Jess. Last one for you. If there happens to be a skirmish due to conflict on the ice tonight, is it you that goes in and breaks it up?
I don't break it up. I'll just join in. I'll jersey you, Tommy.
Yeah, I know you would. That's why you're the best. That's why you're the best. I'm always on my best behavior around Jess. Jessica Bromley, thank you for having us, and thank you for your time. Yeah, this is absolutely tremendous, and we really appreciate it. Thank you, Jess.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. There's Jessica Bromley from the EOCF. Absolutely awesome, and you heard it from her. She would jersey me. I'd get my butt kicked. I'll just say that. I would get my butt kicked. Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Sean Bell as well stopping by. Bellsy, feel free to send anybody over if you want. We got to. You're going to get Mark out there. Mark Fistrick is here. Text us 780-218-9999. Nanso, what'd you think of that? Just like anybody at EST, I'd get jerseyed.
The chirps, man. I love it.
I know.
Great. That was fantastic. The people in the Nasty chat absolutely loved it. Are you having someone join you, Tom?
Yes.
Okay.
Mark coming? Mark's coming. After dinner, Mark says. We've got Andy Devlin here. Oh, yeah. Team photographer, Andy Devlin. Do you want to come back on, Belsy? No, you don't. You just want to sit here. Okay. He's going to sit beside me. We're going to do a picture.
Look at that,
Andy. Thank you, Andy. Andy's the best. All right, get out of here.
Tom, if you want to just get centered, then move a little bit to your left.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nat. So, got anything in the nasty chat or any texts? Go for it.
Let's see here. We do have one that just rolled in from our good buddy Hampton Steve. He says, "Good evening, gents. With the Canucks teetering on the edge, if the Oilers can beat them soundly and push them over, the chaos will result in that market will be beautiful to watch. Karma for some of the Canucks fans acted during the playoffs last year. Yeah, that was
crazy last year.
Yeah, it's not all Canucks fans, but it was pretty interesting last year during that series. We got through it, though. We got through it. People are asking about the lineups. They'll hit the ice at about 7:30, and we'll update you on that as well.
I can give you preliminary lineups, and that's actually a good segue. I'm glad people have brought that up. Let's get to the starting lineups brought to you by South Fort Chev. And like Hernan said, we'll finalize the lineups later on. Nanso and I will keep tabs on things as we roll on here at the Shamrock Curling Club, 3rd Annual Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. If you're wondering what the heck's going on, if you're just joining us, always great to be down here. We were down here last year. It was a lot of fun. Jason Strudwick, Mac T, chirping us, having a brewski. We'll get Mac T on here. Mark Fistrick's going to join me after they finish up eating. Starting lineups, like I mentioned, brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox Trax and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados and won't be beat. See dealer for details, www.southfortchev.com. Here's what we got from Stoff down in Vancouver earlier. It was McDavid with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman, Draisaitl centering Podkolzin and Arvidsson, Henrique between Janmark and Brown, Philp with Jeff Skinner and Corey Perry. On defense, we're anticipating Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Emberson, Kulak with Stetcher. I know Brown was rotating in there as well earlier. We'll finalize and figure that out when the teams, like I said, hit the ice for warm-up in about 15, 20 minutes or so, but we do anticipate Kasperi Kapanen and Derek Ryan being out. So I feel like Josh Brown's probably the odd man out tonight on defense.
I agree 100%. And
no John Klingberg as well.
Yeah.
I
think he's slated to arrive Monday in Edmonton. Is that what you're hearing, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay. And then how long?
He's not going to meet up with the team right now. He's got to get settled in, get everything
how long do you think before we see him play a game?
Here's what I think about that. So they signed him yesterday. He's not telling teams he's ready to sign unless he is in a position physically to start playing again relatively soon. So I think, I can't see it being more than a week of waiting to get him into the lineup, especially with a lot of games condensed in here before we get to the Four Nations face-off. So I could see him. Let's take a quick look at the schedule here just to see what it looks like. Edmonton, obviously, in Vancouver tonight. The Oilers will then kick off an extended homestand to wrap up the month of January. They've got the Caps on Tuesday, the Canucks again on Thursday, like Hernan was saying earlier. We've got Buffalo on Saturday, Seattle on Monday, Detroit at the end of the month on the 30th. I could see him playing by that Buffalo game. I think that would be an easy one to get him in, Hernan. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just looking at the schedule, and that's definitely the one I'm looking at. Probably practice this week, meet the team, watch the boys play a few games, and then get into the game next. That's next Saturday you're talking, right, Tom? Yeah.
Next Saturday, Buffalo's in town.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. So I think you're onto something there. I can't see it being Tuesday or Thursday, Tommy. I just can't. And
you're not throwing him in against the Caps, the best team in the league right now. Tied for top spot with Winnipeg.
No, you're not. So I think Saturday is probably the earliest we'll see him.
That's my guess. You don't want him sitting around too long. Get him into the room, get him acclimated with the guys, get him up to speed on systems, expectation from the blue line, a couple of full practices with the group, get the feel of the game day. They probably send him out there for warm-up, Nanso, because you can send him out for warm-up and then get him playing by Saturday. That's my guess. We shall see. What say you? Let us know your thoughts. 780-218-9999. Get into the nasty chat as well. Also, question of the night from Hernan was, Nanso, let me put it in. I think I got this Cole's Notes version. If the Canucks lose tonight, how quickly do they make a move with JT Miller? Is that fair to sum up the question of the night with that? Yeah, let us know your thoughts because things are brewing. Pagnotta about half an hour ago saying that no trade right now. It's expected that Miller plays against the Oilers.
I'm just going to quickly look, Tom, because let's see here. So they play tonight, and then they play Tuesday, Thursday. Same as the Oilers, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So, it can be any day if they lose this one tonight.
Okay.
I think
we do have a quick...
Yeah, go ahead.
We have a quick update. Hampton Steve reminding us that the Oilers Twitter account said earlier that the Oilers are going 11-7 again tonight. Jeff Skinner is coming out. Josh Brown is in. Thank you, Hampton Steve. We'll confirm when the team hits the ice for warm-up. Go ahead. Sorry, Hernan. I interrupted you there.
11-7 again? What?
I guess.
But they, when did they go? Which game did they go 11-7, Tom?
That was it Minnesota? No. It was the game before Mini, wasn't it? It was at home.
It was the Monday.
The win against LA. It was against the Kings.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I'm a little intrigued by it. Why? I don't know why. I don't know why I'd put Josh Brown in there. I think the 6 guys you have right now are fine. It's always better when you roll 4 lines. I don't get that. And like I said, we'll find out shortly here, about 10 minutes away. But yeah, Tom, I just don't like it. If your 7th defenseman was, he's a 7th defenseman, obviously, but I just don't see the value Josh brings outside of being physical. But again, who's going to fight him on the Canucks? Vinny Desharnais?
Maybe.
That's probably the only one, right?
Maybe he will. Yeah, maybe he will. All right, we're going to get to Matt Kassian with Game Changers in about 10 minutes' time. I'm trying to flag down a former Canuck who is just across from me here. I'll see if I think people would really like it if he hopped on for a couple of minutes. I mean, I could get him post-game as well. Maybe I can get him for both. We'll see. 780-218-9999. You're starting goalies for tonight. 26-year-old Stuart Skinner going for the Oilers. 18-9-3, 269 goals against average, 902 save percentage, 2 shutouts in 30 games this season. 2-4 record versus Vancouver. 388 goals against average, 855 save percentage in the 7 appearances against the Canucks. For Skinner at the other end of the rink, it is 29-year-old Thatcher Demko. 2-3-3 record. 339 GAA. Strutty. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Thatcher Demko, 2-3-3 with a 339 GAA, 872 save percentage in 9 games. 5-8-1 record versus the Oilers with a 278 GAA, 919 save percentage in 14 games versus Edmonton over the course of his career. The Canucks, by the way, this is what we're expecting from them. We'll have to confirm again during warm-up. Elias Pettersson between Jacob DeBrusk and Jonathan Lecker-Miyake. I heard that Lecker-Miyake might not be a go tonight. JT Miller is expected to play between Phil DiGiuseppe and Brock Besser. Pius Suter with Danton Heinen and Connor Garland. Teddy Bluger with Nils Hoglander and Kiefer Sherwood. Quinn Hughes paired up with Philip Hronik. Derek Forbert with Tyler Myers. Carson Soucy with former Oiler Vinny Desharnais. That brings us to the Advantage Sports Medicine. Oh, Louis, cheers. Cheers to the Nasties. He's got a 6 o'clocker here. Oh, for Belsey. Okay. Cheers, Louis. There you go. Nasty Club member. Louis in there bringing a 6 o'clocker lager. He saw my beer was down. And
nice.
That's why the Nasties, that's why they're the best. They're the best.
Gotta keep Tommy going here with the cervezas.
They're doing a great job of it. We're having a great time here at the Shamrock Curling Club. All right, let's get to the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy Injury Report. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. For the Oilers, Alec Regula, IR knee. Evander Kane, IR abdominal surgery, throw in knee surgery as well. We heard that not long ago, 9-10 days ago. For the Vancouver Canucks, Noah Juleson is day-to-day with an undisclosed injury. Dakota Joshua, IR leg. So there you go. Those are the injuries for the Oilers and the Canucks. Brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Strutty said, I need to eat dinner, as he walked away with a small glass of wine. He's a fancy boy.
Oh, the nice red, eh? Tommy, I'll just update if... Oh, we got... Hey, look who it is.
Oh, look who it is. Trouble. All right, this one here. He's having dessert already. Hello, Joaquin.
Hey.
How are you?
What's going on, boys?
Welcome to the program.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Cass is going to join us, so if you want to stick around for Game Changers, that'd be great. Do you need another beverage? Louis just brought this. He's a Nasty Club member.
Really?
Yep, it's fresh. 6 o'clocker lager. All right, we were talking about the turmoil with the Canucks. We're talking about lineups. There's going to be some tweaks. JT Miller, Dave Pagnotta put it out there. He's expected to play tonight, but the trade winds are blowing right now. I asked Belsey a little bit about his experiences with the team in turmoil. We can't ignore the noise around the Canucks. We saw, I mean, it's on the ice now. How do you think things are going around Vancouver? What's that like? I don't know if you've been in any of those situations where a guy is definitely on the outs with the team to the point where the coach is saying, you sit at the end of the bench, you're done for the night. What's your read on this Vancouver Canucks team right now?
Complete disaster, I think. Like, Nanzo and I were talking about it, and I don't know who mentioned, like, everything went right for the Vancouver Canucks. But this is kind
last
of
year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
So this was maybe swept under the rug. Like, we're hearing former players talk about it, that they saw it and said, hey, something's got to be done. But when you start losing, the cracks of the dam start to show.
Right.
And it seems like they're taking on water. And something has to be. I thought I originally thought, okay, they have two really good players. Maybe they can skate through, get to the playoffs, and the playoffs are a different animal. Everyone can rally together from that way. But it shows, Tommy. They can't get past this. Something has to be done. By the looks of it, it looks like Miller is out. It kind of makes sense, I guess. His age, his contract, a little bit easier to move at this point. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's out.
Gager, go ahead.
So Elliot just tweeted out 2 minutes ago for Saturday headlines. Miller trade was close, but something happened and he will play. People ask if he vetoed it. No, I do not believe that is the issue. Some teams have permission to talk to him.
Wow.
Weird. How do you juggle that as a player? Like if you have a bit of power and persuasion, but you got to play a game that night.
I would find it extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not think about that? You're only human. Of course, you're going to be thinking about that the whole time. He didn't veto it, but the trade was in the works. That's really frustrating for Miller because he probably wants this thing to end too. Right?
Yes.
He wants to probably get out of Vancouver as soon as possible. I was thinking, where do you think where he might go, Tommy? Like I was talking to a few other guys and talking to Belzy about it.
Well, we had Pagnotta on Hello Hockey earlier, and he's like, New Jersey could be a landing spot. I know New York. Back to the Rangers would be something he'd be open to. But the other thing, Gager, I heard was he wore out his welcome in Tampa. He wore out his welcome in New York. I know it's a different regime running the Rangers now. Pittsburgh was another team name that was thrown out there that maybe it would be a fit for the Penguins to kind of kickstart their season. Because, I mean, they're in the mix a little bit. Out east it seems like. But he's a guy that comes with baggage, too.
Well, the proof's in the pudding there, Tommy, and you said it. He wore out his welcome in different spots where teams wanted to move away from him. Is this kind of the next team that Miller goes to? He's got to show that he's a good team guy. Not unlike Evander Kane a little bit, right? I thought he showed a different side when he came to the Edmonton Oilers.
That's fair.
No, I was floating around different, like the type of player he needs. What team needs that type of player most?
I like the type of player that JT Miller is.
It's hard not to. Like he was one of the main reasons the Oilers didn't get past the second round last year with his play. But I look at teams that need that type of sandpaper, that type of grit. Look no further than the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Oh, can they squeeze him in though?
Well, something big would be coming the other way, though, right?
So, yeah, exactly.
With some other probably, this is just me talking. I'm not an insider. I don't know this, but looking at headlines recently, Mitch Marner's an interesting player. Obviously, there'd have to be more compensation coming back from Vancouver, but you can't tell me that Miller is not the type of player that Toronto or Berube would like in his lineup.
Oh, great point. Very good point. Money matters. Interesting. That's a good one. I want to throw this at you because Cass is about to join us for Game Changers. Stick around if you want to because that'd be great. I know you were drafted by the Oilers around the time that this was happening, and I don't know I can't remember if you told me you got called up around this season, but when Shane Corson was here, I know it did not end well, and they had to get him out of here. Do you recollect much of that? Is this similar? I was 8 or 9, Gager, so I don't have a great grasp on it. But he kind of made amends with the organization. He's shown up for alumni things, and I met him. I thought he was a great guy.
Of course, he's a great guy.
Different teams, different situations.
Yeah. Not Miller's situation.
Okay, thank you.
But I can. Not that I knew. I was like a young kid with the parents fighting at that point. You don't really know,
right? You're just there.
I'm just there. I heard that there. Course was about course.
Okay.
And he wanted to, if he wanted to be the man, wanted to have the most points, wanted to have the most opportunity. And that was when kind of Doug Waite was taking over as the go-to guy.
It's my angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I love
so I think that rubbed Course a little bit the wrong way.
Oh,
and And so it got to the point where, I need these points. I need to, my contract's coming up. And when it seemed that Shane was more interested in his end of the year stats, I believe, than how the team did.
Okay.
All right. And you get that. Some guys do that. It's their livelihood, right? Yep. I understand it. It's probably difficult for fans. So how can he just think about himself? But just look at yourself in any type of occupation. You're trying to show the best to your bosses, or if there's opportunity elsewhere. And that's eventually what Course did, signing huge tickets after he was in and with him.
He did, and he had a great run with the Leafs. I remember it was Kevin Quinn, who used to be the play-by-play voice on the TV side before Jack took over a couple of years ago. He said, Tom, you don't get paid what you're worth. You get paid what you negotiate. And that comes to mind when you mentioned that. I didn't know the full story, so that's why I was curious, and it's good to see the contrast.
I probably put a little bit too much sugar on that, but that's kind of what it was.
Well, it was a tasty treat, whatever you got here for.
I brought this for you
for dessert. Thank you. I should probably have dinner at some point too. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers and Canucks live on location at the 3rd annual Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. Shamrock Curling Club is where we are. Tom Gazzola, Joaquin Gage, Hernan, Salas, and our game analyst Matt Kassian with us now from the satellite studios. Cass, we're missing you here. We had Jess Bromley on from the EOCF. She was saying, we wish Cass were here. But you're a busy boy. You got 3 girls you're chasing around. But you're with us on the show, which is still number 1 in our hearts. What do you make, before we dive into Game Changers, of everything that's going on surrounding the Vancouver Canucks?
Yeah, well, it's certainly interesting, isn't it? One of those things where there's enough smoke, there's fire, right? Like where everyone was downplaying it, saying that's not a thing, that's not a thing, that's not a thing. But it's just been too much. So something has to happen. In a perfect world, you can have everyone make nice and get along well enough that everything's okay. But hey, sometimes you have personality conflicts and you have things that are going to deteriorate the situation for everybody else, and you have to look to make moves. So it's certainly an interesting situation for the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, this isn't 2 fourth-line guys where you're like, okay, we can just kind of quietly move somebody out. This is these are the big boys. These are the big guns. And for all that, they're holding on here is a team, still within reach of that wild card spot that they're shooting for. So it's not like the season is over for the Vancouver Canucks, but it's just too bad, especially if you're a Canucks fan, to see what, and really, guys, and Gager, you've been in enough locker rooms and dressing rooms. It's not fun. You want people, even if they don't, doesn't have to be an everybody love everybody situation, but you have to be able to be professional and move on and put your differences aside to go out there and play. And it just kind of seems like they haven't quite been able to do that as a whole. So it's an interesting situation, an unfortunate situation. But hey, it's nothing like the Oilers alumni, which is one big happy family, which I regret I can't be there tonight. It was another full day. I feel like I haven't slept, but I'm here and I'm not going to sleep tonight because we'll have the post-game show too. But happy to watch a little Oilers hockey again. I got to watch the game against Colorado. It was fun. Just flying back that day. So I was up at like 3 a.m. our time. So just still recovering, but we're good and ready for a little Canucks Oilers action.
Like that hat, very muted. What is that hat you're wearing right now?
No, it says Miracle on it. My wife makes me wear it. She likes it. So
it's a nice hat.
Yeah,
I actually like it too. It is nice.
It's very loud.
It is.
It's uncast-like with the loudness of it all.
It's it's a little more rare. I'm more of a wear less color, more blacks and grays type of guy. But every once in a while, I'll throw a splash in there. And one of my and we were dropping our girls off at a birthday party. My oldest off at a birthday party today, and so one of my other good buddies pulled up in his truck at the same time and asked if I was catching any deer today, and I said, no, I'm not. I said, it's harvesting deer, you fool. Even though he's actually the guy that hunts, and he said that. But
I love how you use the term harvesting because when I do Bozone Live, that's what all the hunters
really?
We harvested a buck today.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to worry about getting shot with that thing on.
Nope.
All right, let's get the Game Changers with our game analyst Matt Kassian, Joaquin Gage with us as well. Of course, Game Changers brought to you by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting has been a consistent top producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He is community driven, understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate, now with the agency. Number one, Joaquin Gage, will you do the honors, please?
Rush attacks, Cass.
Rush attacks the Vancouver Canucks, a very dangerous team off the rush. For all the issues that they have right now inside the dressing room, they still have some guys that can create off the rush. And it's anchored by Quinn Hughes, who, yes, he's a defenseman, but very, very active. Always in on the rush, likes to sneak in there. But guys like Miller, who you guys have talked about a little bit already, and Pettersson when he's playing well, Brock Besser as well, like they have some guys that they can generate offense in zone as well, but where they love to create is on the rush. So they love taking advantage of 3-on-2s. They love finding, look at a guy like Pettersson who loves to pull up because he will, and try to find Quinn Hughes coming in late. Quinn Hughes, picking up pucks, driving through the middle and finding someone in zone on rush for the Vancouver Canucks. They're a dangerous team there. And the Edmonton Oilers, if we're picking areas that the last number of years they've struggled in, there's a few different ones. And we talk about starts. That's an area that is always kind of constantly under scrutiny, that always needs to improve. We talk about sometimes those defensive zone lapses where they make the big brain farts down low and turn pucks over and just make boneheaded mistakes, for lack of a better term. But the third one, which is, we probably have talked about it less this year, which is a good thing, is rush attacks against, where they seem to at times struggle with their sort outs, and teams can find some success against them. Now, there's not a ton of teams that are absolutely fantastic at it. You probably actually have one of the better teams in the league at rush 4 with McDavid and Draisaitl and their ability to create off the rush. But Vancouver is a team that has some guys that can burn you in that situation. So it's really important for the defensemen in particular, who are skating backwards, who can see the ice, who can see what's happening, that their communication in particular is on point, that they're pointing, they're talking. We don't see the old Bouchard point at a guy and then let him go.
That's the worst.
I got that guy, and wait a second, I'm going to look. Oh, wait, no, now my guy's behind me. Can't have that happen against this group, because they will take advantage of it. Those forwards coming back into the zone, really important that if you're not going to be able to apply heavy pressure to a guy that's outside, if they have the puck kicked out to either of the walls, that you are maintaining the middle of the ice and that you're finding danger, right? And that's the name of the game when you're defending against the rush, is who's the most dangerous guy? Where's the most dangerous play? Let's take away that, because usually the guy on the wall isn't going to be the guy that's going to score. It's the guy in the middle of the ice that's free and loose. So that communication, I think today, just a little bit more important maybe than other games. And it's always important, guys. But against a team like Vancouver that does thrive off of creating chances on the rush, really, really important that you dial in that communication, sorting out who's got who, and then you're not just letting anyone go free coming back into your own zone.
Gager, what would you add to that? How would you give the goaltender's perspective on trying to handle that?
It differs from period to period, because that long change in the second period, sometimes that's where the most communication is needed, because you'll get late waves off the bench. So sometimes the recognition coming out of the zone is fine, but it's sometimes that late change, and you'll see the guy will come off the bench, come late. You think you've had everyone, you think you're in proper position, but some guy's blowing you past you because you lost that. So communication happens not just on the ice, it's from the bench too. Like, right. You'll hear, how many times have you yelled like off the bench, Cass? So everyone goes, okay.
I yelled a lot because I was always
I thought it was just get off the bench. So yeah, there's just different moments where I think it's with the Oilers, and like Cass said, that's been one of the areas, I don't want to say of concern, but maybe a weakness that the Vancouver Canucks will definitely try to exploit this evening.
Cass talked about pointing at your guy and then him coming in and scoring. I vividly remember last week in Pittsburgh, Ricard Raquel sneaking by and Evan Bouchard being like, there he is, and then he tucked it home even 3 seconds later.
Nanso and I were talking about Evan Bouchard. I'd like Cass's take on this. Do you think, Cass, his defensive play has just gotten to a point where we've seen how good it can be, right? but I think there is such a lack of confidence that he is in that 50-50 zone now all the time, where he's just trying to sit back. Okay, I'm in a good position, but you might as well just make a decision, like 100%. Go at the guy. If you get beat, fine. But he's in no man's land, it seems like, on the defensive side right now.
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation on the confidence side of it, where it has been a struggle defensively at times for him this year, and that has impacted him. And because we have seen, as you also said, and particularly like in the playoffs, when he's dialed in defensively and he's feeling it defensively, like he's effective. He's good. He's a big body. He's rangy. He moves well, which means he takes up space and he's very effective. But he just has struggled with his consistency this year. And I do wonder if there's just that confidence, that mentality that he has to get out of not wanting to make a mistake, because they're very different. Like just playing is one thing, and playing to make plays is different than, and defensively playing not to get scored on is differently than playing with intent, just play to play, right? Like it's a mentality thing, and I do wonder if that's affected him a little bit. Not to say that he can't turn around and clean it up, and there are going to be times, as there always will, with players that are that offensive caliber, that offensive minded, where mistakes will happen. He's going to turn some pucks over sometimes. It's just, the time and place has not been ideal, and I think that's hampered him a little bit. So I don't want to say he's been horrible defensively, because I don't think he has been. He has been more mistake prone, and I think part of that reason you identified correctly, Gager, is just a confidence issue in the defensive zone, because just like you can have confidence or not confidence offensively, you can have that defensively as well.
Cass wants to see some intentionality from Evan Bouchard. Point number 1 on Game Changers was rush attacks. Point number 2, Joaquin Gage.
Time and space.
Take it away on the forecheck. Quinn Hughes, we just talked about how good they are on the offensive, the rush side of the puck. And yes, you can deal with it in your own end when you're sorting it out, when you're coming back. But the best way, far and away, to deal with it is to take away Quinn Hughes' time and space when he has the puck on his stick in the defensive zone. Now, that doesn't mean rushing him willy-nilly. He's a slippery guy. Like, he can spin off you. He can create space. He can make plays. You can't just rush at him willy-nilly. However, what you want to do is you want to take away his time and space. You don't want to give him that extra second to be able to make a clean play. Force him to put it in an awkward position where he can't get it cleanly to the forward. Force him in a position where he has to pass it to a guy's backhand instead of a forehand where the player's turning up ice and able to generate speed. Taking away time and space against elite caliber defensemen is huge. Now, it's difficult to do. Even if you do it well, there's still a chance that they're going to be able to create some offense, because it's just he's an elite level player as far as defensemen go, an absolute elite level player. But you mitigate it how you can by staying on top of him, and first and foremost, taking away his time and space. Don't let him have the puck on his stick too long. He is going to find plays. He's going to find openings. He's going to create offense. And the more time you give him, the better he's going to be. So taking away that time and space, making sure the phrase that gets thrown around all the time in locker rooms is stick on puck. I don't know how many times, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times you hear that, like, go stick on puck, boys, stick on puck, make sure you're stick on puck. And against high level players, that is what it is. That doesn't mean lunging, put your stick towards the puck and lunging at him, but it means that, when you're skating towards a player, trying to take away his time and space, you have your stick in a good position to try to force him to move the puck around you, and to make a play that maybe is worse than the grade A play that he's looking for, because he's going to see it. So, Quinn Hughes is a special player, fun to watch. You want to be physical on him as much as you can. It's not a playoff series, so you don't have necessarily the compounding effect that you can have if you're playing in multiple games. Applause. I don't know what that was, but let's clap.
Yeah, that's for you, Cass.
It's for you. They're like, oh, Matt Kassian's on.
What a job.
He's on. But yeah, guys, Quinn Hughes, take away his time and space. It goes a really long way, because if you limit him, you are significantly hampering the offense of this Vancouver Canucks team.
Cass, Gager, do you want to add anything to what Cass had to say there?
No, it's take away time and space, like Cass said. You want to eliminate him early, right? Don't let him after that first pass, that he makes, he's jumping in the play. Right?
Yep.
You want to make sure that he doesn't become that first or second or even third wave.
Yeah, and that means bumping them. Doesn't necessarily mean running them over, like just clean clocking them. It just means you're slowing them down, right? Yeah. Because if you force momentum back towards his own end of the ice, well, that's an extra step he has to take. That's a quarter, less than a quarter, even second slower, but that makes a huge difference. So yeah, getting those bumps on him and taking away that time and space is massive.
Get in his way, that Quinn Hughes. All right, it is Game Changers with our game analyst, Matt Kassian, walking Gage along for the ride as well. We're live on location at the Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. Got the MC going right now. We're going to get to point number 3 of Game Changers. Gager?
Resiliency.
Yeah, well, what resiliency we saw from this group, and we heard that word many times out of the mouth of the aforementioned Evan Bouchard and others in the Oilers locker room for that big win against the Colorado Avalanche, where they were down. I don't want to say they struggled early. You had some good players make some good plays. They were down. They could have just quit that game, and everyone probably would have been like, okay, you're playing the Colorado Avalanche. You have back-to-backs here, and they're a good team. And, McKinnon made some nice plays, and you just let this one go. But they stuck with it. And in games like today, again, against the Vancouver team, that resiliency is important. And I think, to me, the reason that I wanted to bring up that word and talk about it a little bit, guys, is this group has shown the last couple of weeks that they can be a resilient group, even if they haven't played a full great game, even if they've struggled off the start, even if they're down a couple of goals, they have shown that capacity to be able to hang around and stay in it and to claw their way back in. But that resiliency is great. I mean, it is wonderful to see if things don't go your way, that they've had this ability to do it. And I want to just see more of that. Not that they're putting themselves intentionally in a position where they have to claw back into games. We ideally don't see that. But this group has done a great job of it. And Tom, and Gager just want to see them continue to stick with it. That stick-to-itiveness, is some coaches would use that term. Just sticking with it, sticking with that process, being a mentally resilient group. And I wanted to, because he was the guy that said it frequently, and we already talked about Evan Bouchard, so we kind of already unpacked this a little bit, but I wanted to bring up Evan Bouchard and speak of how, he can build some of that resilience in his game in the defensive zone and build on that confidence. And, hopefully, again, he just continues to get back to that playoff Bouch, where he's just super, super stable defensively. But a great word, I think, for the Edmonton Oilers right now, heading into the next couple of weeks down the stretch into the Four Nations break.
And so we have a lineup update. If you don't mind reading it off, I want to hear what Cass and Gager have to say about the Oilers going 11-7 officially.
Yeah, so 11-7 confirmed. So RNH with McDavid, Hyman, Podkolzin with Draisaitl, Arvidsson, Janmark with Henrique and Brown, and then Phil Perry are your 10th and 11th. Deep pairings all remain the same. Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse with Stetcher, Kulak with Emerson. So Josh Brown comes in for Jeff Skinner.
Boys, what do you think? Cass, you want to take a crack at it first, or do you want to go, Gager?
I still think they're showcasing Brown. So go ahead, guys.
Stop it.
I mean, Gager, you're not showcasing the guy and playing him 7 or 8 minutes. I don't know. I don't think they're
solid 7 minutes.
A solid 7. Hey, solid 7 minutes is a solid 7 minutes. It's more than we're getting on the ice in the NHL tonight. So that's something. Hey, I think for me, they're just trying to keep everybody involved, and we're seeing a little bit more of a rotation going. And if they have in the past, which they have the last week or two, gone to 11-7 and been comfortable with it, they still have a way to keep everybody involved to a certain point. Now, Philp is the guy that stays in. You get that extra center. Big body, skates well, maybe a little bit more suited to a fourth line play at this point than a Jeff Skinner. So it's not like it's shocking. That being said, I don't think the Vancouver Canucks are that physical of a team. That being said, they are a working group. That's what Tocchet likes out of it. Like, he likes it being a working group, and maybe you're just having an additional option if you want some physicality on the back end with Brown. And part of it too could be you're anticipating that those top two lines for the Canucks are going to get a lot of time, like the Pettersson line and the Miller line. Like, they're going to play a lot. So you might have to ride your big boys a little bit more. So you're like, okay, well, we can maybe try to get them a little bit of time away from that group by going to 11 forwards versus 12 and rotate some of your top guys through on the third or fourth line.
We got a text that came in. It's from Sean via the inbox. He said, guys, Oilers, Canucks, blah, 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 blah. The Commanders lead the Lions 31-21. What the hell's going on around here?
Oof.
Guys, it's been
The pick six hurt.
yeah, guys. So this is the check this out for this. It's absolutely wild. Second quarter, Commanders TD, followed by a Lions TD, followed by a Commanders TD, followed by a Commanders pick 6 TD, followed by a Lions TD, and now Jared Goff picked off in the end zone to close out the first half.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Let's get. We got another alumni hopping on. Don't go away. Stick. We got. That's why I brought all these microphones. Joe, take the chair. Well, actually, we'll slide down. That's how we'll do it. There we go. We're gonna get Chris Joseph on here. Oilers alumni. Joe, here you go. Let me get this around here. It is the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola, Hernan, Salas, Joaquin Gage, and Chris. You got enough slack on that?
Well, we just got. All I got to say is we just got better looking. The second that we
just got better looking. That's what Cass said. Get in here, squeeze in here. Chris Joseph joining us now. All right, Joe. Give us a little bit of play-by-play on what's going on here, because I know the dinner portion is done. Joaquin is terrible at curling. I'm just kidding. You're defending champ.
I was skipping.
You're trying to hip check me on the ice. What the hell is going on here? Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got.
I thought we were going to play some full contact curling. I don't know any other way. I don't know how to curl. This is my second time in my life.
Are you serious? You're the guy out there, like, you're directing traffic.
It's fun. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I do know I want to come out here and just have some fun and do your best. And I don't know. It's hard. Like, try to put it in there without sailing it through. Like, you know, for us oafs, we kind of just, it's not easy, but it's
good.
Gotta
have soft hands, Joe. Soft hands. It's just a touch.
There you go.
Just a touch.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a very difficult sport. Like, all professionals, when you watch curling, they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
I mean, even just coming out of the hack and looking graceful. That's all I want. I just want graceful hack exits.
I look like an old man putting my socks on. I'm like, I can't touch my feet.
Well, it's funny because that grunt when we're all getting into the hack is quite disturbing, actually.
This is the third annual. I know you're heavily involved with the alumni. To see events like this, though, Joe, and to see more of the connection with the organization and the alumni, what can you say about that and how it's grown? Because you've been in the community forever now.
Yeah, it's
I mean
great.
that
and,
nicest
yeah,
way.
I know. Yeah, forever. Millennia.
Yeah.
No, it's great, and it's a fun event now. We've never really had a curling bonspiel, up until a few years ago, and now it's sort of becoming one of our signature events. Like, we look forward to it every year. So it's just another outreach, area for the Oilers alumni, and then now we've got the community foundations involved too. So we're gaining a little bit of momentum every year, and I think the big thing is, we come out, have some fun, little camaraderie, laugh at each other, and have a good time.
Who's the most competitive out of everyone? Because I know you guys play together as alumni. You play against each other for the alumni skates. And then I know everybody's an athlete, especially you guys who are the former pros. But, like, who's the most competitive? Who puts too much effort and energy into this to the point where they get angry? Because there's one of you that probably does.
Like a Tommy Tryhard?
Well, I mean, I take offense to that first name.
That first name, yeah. I don't know. Our guys are pretty chill, aren't they?
For the most part.
I can't think of one.
Until Smitty comes.
Should we blame Belsey?
Well,
there you go.
When Smitty's in town, Smitty goes hard. I don't think he doesn't have an off switch for that. There's a couple guys. Yeah, Belsey skates way too hard in the back check sometimes. He still's pretty fast, so he does. Another one would be a fellow fireman, Joe. So I don't know if you want to throw him under the bus, but Mark Fistrick, he likes to work pretty hard out there. He goes fast, and he's still in really good shape, which is unfortunate for the rest of us. He goes hard too.
I would say you're all tryhards when I don't play much anymore at all, but you guys try very hard.
Well, we just try to score, but we don't back check.
No, you'll back. No, yeah. It's awful when I
try
play.
To score gauger. I just try to put it by your ears, and if it goes in, then okay. If it hits you in the head, even better.
Yeah, well,
Just waste those
awful.
intimidation shots early.
Why do you think I don't do it anymore?
Yeah. Remember that one time at the Alzheimer's and you were lighting us up and I said, I hope your growing never recovers. I hope you're black and blue and you're growing for the next 2 weeks. And then you came up and you're like, I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks.
I did tear my groin.
He was bragging about that game not long ago.
But he was so good.
Yeah, well,
But it cost him all his tendons and ligaments.
It cost me 3.5 weeks of laying there with my wife. I remember because it was bruised. I ripped my groin, and I think I got up and went to the bathroom, and she thought I was up to no good because the back of my leg was all black. I went, what are you up to? And I go, no. It was Chris Joseph. He went left, I went right, and it blew my groin.
We'd go in on breakaways, and he'd just light us up, and we weren't getting anything past him. We're like, screw you. I hope you hurt. I hope you hurt for a long time.
Well, he did. He did. We got Chris Joseph, Joaquin Gage, Matt Kassian, as we are at the Oilers Alumni Bonspiel. Hernan Salas back at ESTHQ. Joe, we were asking Joaquin and Cass about, because in Vancouver they got this JT Miller situation. It's cooking right now. Like, they're on the cusp of trading him. Sounds like he's going to play tonight against the Oilers. We got benched the other night. Can you recall a time during your playing days where there was a situation that got so sour in front of everybody? Like an internal.
Yeah, I'm sure there was, because there's always something. I can't off the top of my head think of something that, there were some, can I say it on TV where, there may be a wife of a player was getting friendly with another player, and that has happened, and I've seen players get traded for that type of thing, and it's in the best interest. And I don't think anything like that was going on in Vancouver, but there's obviously some internal turmoil, which is hurting the entire team. It doesn't just hurt JT Miller and Pettersson and Tocchet and all. And it's cancerous, like that kind of stuff. If you don't have, a unit that stays together and fights together, then you got a unit that fights against each other, and that's tough.
Did you play with Tocchet at Pittsburgh by any chance?
No, I played against Tocchet a lot, and I did not enjoy playing against him. He was tough. I got the utmost respect for him. He's an amazing person. Yeah. I've met him a few times, and he's a great guy, and he's hard-nosed, and he's a competitor. But I really did not like playing against him because he was so tough.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see he's like very brash and bold behind the bench as well. I'm curious to see how they navigate this. All right, how did your team do? How did your team do? We do miss Cass here at the Shamrock, and what do you like most about this event?
Okay, well, first question, we did not get a point. We lost 6-0 and then 10-0, and actually no, we lost 12-0 because we were down 10-0, and that team that we were playing against in the second game, they pushed for 2 more points. So that was fun.
We only played 3 ends.
I know, we were bad.
That's really
but yeah, other than that, I love the event. It's fun. Thank God I don't put too much pressure on myself for this type of thing. But no, it's fun. I enjoyed it.
Gager.
So the Belzy replaced me on my team, by the way. So,
I got traded too.
Yeah, so they won the first year, and now I'm with the team that won last year. So I'm back. I'm with champions. We lost to Belzy's team first one, close. Came down to the last rock in the third end, and then we just spanked Fistrick's team.
Of course.
They were.
Do you get a semi-final?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
Oh, they didn't, because they announced the 4.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working, Joe. I've been doing that.
I've been eating dessert.
Yeah.
Well, look at this. Cass, do you have FOMO right now?
I do. You know what? Again, it was one, and when Aaron from the alumni had texted me the other day where I'm like, there's just no way I can make this work. I felt so bad because it is such a fun event and they do such a great job. And so I'm missing the brownies, miss the desserts, the dinner's good. And then, Miss Gager just wearing his really tight pants, although he's not wearing his leather jacket today. So
he is wearing tight pants.
They are tight.
Okay.
Very tight.
We've got a couple minutes, and I think this is appropriate because you played in Vancouver, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're from Vancouver, mean streets of Kits.
Yeah.
And then Cass played junior in Vancouver as well. You guys know this market here in Edmonton, fan-wise. They're dialed into the team, live and die with it. How do you think all of the turmoil that's happening with the Canucks is affecting the fan base? Joe, we'll start with you.
I think the fan base really got a taste of the success they had last year, and I think you saw some real good fans come out and get back on the team. And I feel like the Vancouver fans might be thinking, oh, here we go again, too, with maybe an underachieving team. But they've got the ingredients there, and I do think it's the internal turmoil that's causing the problems right now in Vancouver. But I do think they have a good team. But I think the fan base really, because they got some talent. I think they really enjoyed last year. They thought they had a legit shot, and they did.
Yep.
And they're like, why are we doing this again? Like, why don't we have a team that can be competitive consistently?
Gager, Mr. Vancouver? Not anymore, though.
Yeah, goaltending covers up blemishes. It's like cover up, and you don't see it until you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And then it shows its ugly face, so to speak, right? And I think just the play of Thatcher Demko covered up a lot of maybe mistakes that the Canucks were making, and they had no injuries. Everything just went so perfectly. And when there's turmoil in the dressing room and you're not winning, it just compounds and it can get worse and worse and worse. Yeah. And they've just had a shovel and they just can't keep digging.
Yeah.
Cass? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, too, like, if you look at, the Oilers the last 2 years have had turmoil, right?
Sure,
early in the season, right? Like, so Woodcroft got fired last year, and then this year they dipped too. But I think they had that, this isn't really us. We are a better team, and they had that belief. And I don't think Vancouver Canucks quite have that yet. They don't feel that belief that they are a good team. They have to do a little more consistently, but they really do have a lot of talent.
I agree wholeheartedly. Cass, bring it home.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe, you can't have that belief when everyone's just fighting, right? Because you're more worried about the dynamics in the dressing room and the feelings and those emotions rather than because one, even if you're not playing well, like a unified room can still have that belief. Like it's pretty hard if you don't have everyone pulling in the same direction to dig yourself out of a hole. And I don't even think they're in a massive hole. Like they're still within striking distance of that wild card spot. So there's potential. Yeah, still potential there for them this season. You just got to clean up stuff inside the room. And from a fan standpoint, I mean, it's got to be frustrating, right? Because you had such a great team last year. You have a lot of the same pieces there this year, and it just hasn't clicked the same way. They haven't had the same success. And then, with all the internal turmoil reportedly that's going on, it just digs at you as a fan. Yeah. You're like, you could be so much better. You could be in a playoff spot. You could be pushing, but you're not. And a big chunk of it is because of everything going on behind the scenes. And that's frustrating as a fan. You don't want to see that. It's annoying. It's heartbreaking. And I don't care because I'm not a fan of the Vancouver Canucks, but for everyone that is, it sucks.
No sympathy from anybody unless they're from Vancouver that are watching or listening right now on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Joe, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks.
Always great to see you. Gager, always a pleasure. Great stuff as always. Cass, Hernan back in studio for the boys. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. Thanks for texting in. Big thanks to Jess Bromley from EOCF, as well as Brendan Batchelor, play-by-play voice of the Vancouver. For Chris Joseph, Joaquin Gage, Matt Kassian, and Hernan Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola saying we'll see you on the post-game show. Enjoy Oilers and Canucks. Ciao for now.